You want to improve your position on Google search. You need to improve your speed. I asked Emily Romano of 222 Digital to give us one way to make that happen.
So there are many factors into what makes a page load speed faster or slower. Today we're just going to talk about the host. So before we talk about your host speed, let's get into the basics of what hosting is. When you're talking about hosting, you're talking about where the server is. Now the server is just a computer, and that computer is where all of the code is and all the software that runs your website. So what happens when you open a website is that your browser sends a request to the server, and then the server responds to the request and then sends it back to the browser. So there's two machines in this transaction. You obviously cannot control what's going on in the browser of whoever is visiting your site, but what you can control is the server, or your hosting of your website. So a typical server that you're gonna have, which is gonna be your starter server, is a shared server. A shared server literally means that you are sharing that server with other companies, and it could be hundreds of companies. And this is a less expensive option, which is why it's so popular, but there are drawbacks. So you do get what you're paying for. And what happens is when you're using a computer, even your home computer, if you have 100 programs running, not one of those programs is going to be optimized to run quickly. So the more stuff that's going on, the slower everything works. That's something that we all understand. And the same thing is happening with a server. So in addition to the fact that you're competing for resources with other companies, it's also a less expensive option because it's got mid-range performance. That means that they're not using the most expensive, the most high-end, or the fastest computing elements. So you're gonna have a little bit of a slower response time to the internet than you would if you had a dedicated server. So a dedicated server is going to be a more expensive option because it's all yours. You are renting this entire server, nobody else, and typically you're gonna get higher end customized hardware. So it's going to be optimized for your site and just your site. There's nobody else competing for RAM, competing for resources. This is also going to be a more secure option because there's no other sites that are on there. You are going to be able to protect your customers' data a lot more effectively on a dedicated server. The other thing is that because it's only dedicated to your website, all of your queries are going to be processed immediately because you have 100% of the resources. So that just really what that means is you just have a faster connection to the internet.
Does that help? Please follow us for more. And if you want more information or to get in touch with 222 Digital, just reach out and we'll put you in contact. That's it for today. Check back again for Conejo Valley Impact Marketing.